Level 1. You're sitting in your usual booth, eating the same $8 sandwich you always order. Your coworker slides in across from you, complaining about rent going up again. You nod. You sympathize. You even say, "Yeah, it's brutal out there." Meanwhile, your phone is sitting face down on the table. And on that phone, in an account nobody has ever seen, is $500 million. You haven't told a single person. Not your best friend. Not your parents. Not your spouse. Because the moment anyone finds out, everything changes. And not in the way you'd think. Level 2. It started 8 months ago. A quiet inheritance from a relative you barely knew. An offshore trust, untouched for decades, finally unlocked in your name. Your lawyer told you something that's been echoing in your head ever since. The fewer people who know, the safer you are. So you kept your same apartment, same job, same beat-up car with the check engine light that's been on for 2 years. You transferred a small amount, just enough to breathe, into a separate account under a different name. Everything else stays locked, untouched, growing. You think you've got this under control. Then your landlord knocks on your door. "Hey, weird question. Did you apply for a mortgage? A bank called here asking about your income verification." Your stomach drops. You never applied for anything. Level 3. You start digging. Turns out your lawyer's firm had a data breach last month. Client records, including yours, were exposed on the dark web. Someone, somewhere, now has partial information about your accounts. You don't know how much they know. You don't know who they are. And you can't exactly call the police and say, "Someone might know about my secret $500 million." That night, you get a text from an unknown number. "We need to talk about your situation. I know what you have." You don't respond. You don't sleep. The next morning, your coworker, the one who was just complaining about rent, casually mentions he saw your car parked outside a very expensive private banking building downtown last week. "Just doing some paperwork for a friend," you say, way too quickly. He gives you a look, just a flicker. But he noticed. Level 4. You decide you need a release valve, somewhere to feel normal, to feel like you for an hour. You book a hotel room for the weekend. Nothing crazy, just a nice one. You pay with the card linked to your hidden account. Big mistake. 3 days later, your bank's fraud department calls your main phone, the one everyone has your number for. "We've noticed unusual spending patterns linked to an account associated with your SSN. Can you confirm a transaction at the Whitmore Hotel?" You're standing in the break room at work when the call comes through. Your manager is 2 feet away, refilling his coffee. You step outside, heart hammering, and quietly confirm the charge. But now there's a flag on your file, a connection between your real identity and the account you swore would stay invisible. You hang up. Your manager is staring at you when you walk back in. "Everything okay? You look pale?" "Yeah," you say. "Just family stuff." He nods slowly. But that night, you find out he mentioned it to HR, just in case you needed support resources. Now there's a note in your file, a small one, but it exists. Level 5. Your sister calls. She's crying. She's about to lose her house, behind on payments, about to be evicted with her 2 kids. You have the money. You could fix this in 30 seconds. 1 transfer. Done. But you know the moment a large, unexplained sum lands in her account, questions start. The bank flags it. She mentions it to someone. That someone mentions it to someone else. You almost tell her everything right there on the phone. Instead, you say, "Let me see what I can do." You quietly route money through a private structure your lawyer set up. Slow, anonymous, untraceable. Mostly. It takes 3 agonizing days. Her house is saved. She never finds out it was you. But 2 weeks later, A financial crimes investigator contacts her, flagging unusual third-party deposits tied to an offshore entity. She calls you, panicked. Some guy from a government office wants to ask me about money I never even knew I received. You have to sit there, on the phone, and pretend you have no idea what she's talking about. It's the first time you've lied to your sister's face. And it won't be the last. Level 6. The unknown texter reaches out again, this time with proof, a screenshot of an account statement. Your real balance, your real name attached to the trust. I don't want to expose you. I want a partnership. It's blackmail, dressed up nicely. You meet them, a coffee shop, public, safe. And when they walk in, your stomach drops again. It's someone from your old job, someone you trusted, someone who got laid off the same month your inheritance came through and started digging into why you suddenly seemed different, calmer, less stressed about bills you used to complain about constantly. They don't want money exactly, not at first. They want to know how someone like you, ordinary, invisible, ended up sitting on a fortune most people will never see in 10 lifetimes. You have a choice. Pay them off, which creates a paper trail and a permanent leash, or call their bluff and risk full exposure. You choose neither. You tell them the truth. Part of it. Enough to satisfy curiosity. Enough to make them feel in on it. Not enough to give them power. It works. For now. But 3 days later, they text again. Different tone this time. I told a friend. He thinks we should ask for more. He's not as reasonable as me. Your partnership just became a liability with a second person attached to it. Someone you've never met. Someone who now knows your name. Level 7 months pass. The blackmailer goes quiet. Too quiet. You don't know if that's good or terrifying. Then, late one night, a different number calls. Government caller ID, a federal agent. Calm, professional. We're conducting a routine audit on a dormant offshore trust connected to your name. We just have a few questions. Your heart pounds. This is it. This is the moment everything unravels. You agree to voluntarily answer questions. Your lawyer insists refusing would look worse. The interview is 2 hours of careful, polite, terrifying questions. Where did the money originate? Who else has access? Have you transferred funds to family members? You answer everything truthfully, except the parts about your sister. You leave those out entirely. The agent thanks you, says they'll follow up. Then he says one more thing on his way out the door. By the way, we're aware of a recent attempted extortion linked to your accounts. We're looking into that, too. If anyone contacts you again, you call us immediately. Understood? They already know about the blackmailer, which means they've been watching your accounts for longer than you thought. Level 8. That sentence sits with you for days, longer than you thought. A week later, a text arrives from the same unknown number. Heard you had visitors. Doesn't change anything between us. You call your lawyer. He brings in a private investigator. And 3 days later, the truth lands hard. The blackmailer isn't one person. It's a group that targets people with newly unlocked dormant trusts, using data stolen from inside your law firm. An inside job, running for 2 years. The fourth victim, the one who vanished without a trace, didn't disappear because he paid. He disappeared because he refused. You call the federal agent and tell him everything. Silence then. You just gave us the piece we've been missing for 14 months. 2 weeks later, you come home to find your door unlocked, and federal agents already inside, waiting. The man behind every blackmail text is arrested in your kitchen, holding a notebook full of names. Yours. And 6 others. The case breaks wide open. The insider at the law firm is charged. The other victims come forward. The agent confirms your sister was never part of the investigation. The deposits trace to a private structure, not to her. It's over. Level 9. You sit in the same booth, same $8 sandwich, same coworker, still complaining about rent. But the crumpled receipt in your pocket means something different now. The trust is still there. $500 million, untouched, exactly as your lawyer built it. The threats are gone. The fear is gone. The people who turned your secret into a weapon are behind bars. For good. Your phone buzzes. Case closed. The money is yours. You don't open the app. You finish your sandwich first. Because the truth is, the money was never the hard part. Hiding it wasn't either. The hard part was surviving long enough to finally stop hiding. And tonight, for the first time in 8 months, you sleep.